Dear content creator, what if your biggest regret 5 years from now is not the opportunities you took that didn't work out, but the opportunities you never even applied for? In today's episode, I want to talk about the importance of shooting your shot because you only miss the shots you don't take. Let's dive in. What up, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Dear Content Creator. I am your host, Karis Maggie. We are back for another episode. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode. If you had tuned into the last episode, which was a little bit on the heavier side, you would know that I came back from a little break, but I am back refreshed. Excited to be back on the podcast. And again, we are going to be going to a bi-weekly cadence moving forward until further notice. That is what your girl's bandwidth is right now. And I would rather that I cut back on how often I upload versus stopping altogether. So thank you all for rocking with me. And I'm hoping that you are pumped for this week's episode because I know that I am. I have some good news to share with y'all. So make sure that you stay towards the end so that you can hear what those are. So, shooting your shot. Let us talk about that today. We always hear that you only miss the shots that you don't take, and I could not agree more. I am a firm believer that if there is something that you want to do, you never know what can happen. So, just shoot your shot. The most that can happen is that you hear no. Maybe sometimes you won't hear anything at all, but it doesn't mean that you should give up. The important thing is that you put yourself out there, and it's good for us to also just flex those muscles of putting ourselves out there, because if you don't talk about yourself, if you are not advocating for yourself, unless you have people speaking your name in rooms, you gotta do it yourself, okay? And even when people are speaking your name in rooms, still shoot your shot, y'all. You never know what can happen. And I actually want to celebrate a couple wins that I've had, and kind of coming from the previous episode, which was a bit more heavy. If you listen to that episode, you would see that I was working through some things with my thought process of just some recent realizations that I had. And I am in such a better mental space today as I'm recording this episode because I'm taking time to also just be grateful. I think over the years, it can be hard sometimes to really see how far you've come because it just feels like, well, I've been doing this for so long, and why is this and that taking so long to happen for me? And then you kind of look at other people. So I talked about all of that in the previous episode 19, if you want to go and check it out. The importance of kind of just, sometimes you just need to get off the internet and go touch grass. So I got off the internet and I touched grass for a couple of weeks and days, actually, I would say, because I was still kind of online due to work. But I would say that when I allowed myself to just really get off the internet for a good bit, not really looking at what other people are doing, it allowed me to sit in my own accomplishments and take some time to celebrate both more recent ones and past ones that I didn't really take time to celebrate, either because I had to quickly move on to the next thing or because I just didn't really have the celebratory feeling at the time, because life be life and sometimes. But y'all, before we continue with this episode, I want to celebrate a couple of wins for myself. First and foremost, your girl got featured by Stan Store. So I don't know if any of you know about them. They are a platform that is all about helping creators to monetize their knowledge outside of relying on brand deals, outside of relying on being paid via the platforms through like views and AdSense and things like that. You are able to take control of your earnings by monetizing your knowledge and also being able to build community around that. And I talked to you guys in previous episodes about me, doing my first digital product. All of that is on the way for sure. But what I love is that I was able to still release my very first free product, which was me sharing 9 creator tools that I absolutely cannot do without when it comes onto my content creation flow. So if you would like to grab that for yourself, the link is going to be in the show notes for you. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and grab that. get a peek into the tools that I use, how I use them, and some, features that might be interesting to you that you might, it might be helpful to you in your own content creation workflow and all of that. And one of my recent favorite features from them is that they allow you to also have auto DM. So if someone comments a word, you're able to automatically send them a message regarding that freebie or that topic that you talked about in the video. So it's like ManyChats, but instead of you paying a separate subscription for ManyChats, you can just do it with Stan Store. But the second thing is that I got selected for the Pinterest Inclusion Fund 2025. So I am a 2025 recipient, y'all. And that program is all about having creators like myself who want to be able to share content that allows others who are just like me to see themselves in the content that they see on Pinterest. So it's all about inclusivity in terms of skin tone, body size or type, and also hair textures, things like that. And the way I fit a lot of the categories, I'm a black girl, a dark skinned girl to that. I have 4C hair or tighter coils for anyone who doesn't really believe in the hair typing thing, but just to give some context about my hair type. And yeah, like I just couldn't believe when I got the news. I was one of the people selected out of thousands of applications. In total, there were 50 of us who were selected. I am one of the 10 creators from Canada who was selected for this, so I do not take this opportunity for granted at all. And I am looking forward to everything that I will learn about Pinterest, how I can make content that allows people who are looking for inspiration, resources, and things like that based on the content that I do with food and culture, lifestyle related content. I am looking forward to exploring that, and also some lifestyle stuff regarding like skincare and hair and makeup, as someone who is very much a minimalist and I don't really know a lot about those things, but I do like to try out products here and there and just have a very simple routine. Okay, I'm a very simple girl. So those are my 2 accomplishments, y'all. So I think that is a good segue to go into this episode. I didn't want to leave it till the very end, giving you something tangible so you actually stick around. Like, yeah, your girl know what she had talked about because she scored them opportunities on her own. No management, none of that. Just sliding in DMs and shooting my shot by applying for programs when I see them. So first things first, y'all. Some key points that I want to talk about in this episode. The first one is redefining rejection. As someone who has been in this game for, this year is going to be 9 years. This month, actually, I'm going to be celebrating 9 years officially of being a content creator. When I started out on YouTube, uploading my very, very first video in July of 2016. Those were the days, man, bringing me down memory lane. But I've been in this game for so long, and there have been many times when I've heard no, whether it was no for brand deals, no for creator programs, no for collaborative partnership opportunities, whatever it was. I have heard no's every which way. Job opportunities, I have heard no's a lot. It's not something that's foreign to me. And there were moments where I would think to myself, like, God, when will it be my turn? What is it about me that is not, having people say yes? And sometimes it's important for us to think of a no, not really being a complete no, but sometimes it's just the opportunity for you to be redirected. So how no is just redirection and not a reflection of your worth. I think in this space, it's very easy for us to equate any type of results to our self-worth. So when it comes down to views, when it comes down to likes, engagements, all of that, getting opportunities, getting invited to influencer events, all of that stuff, if those things are not happening the way we want, we look at our self-worth and think that we're not good enough. And that couldn't be further from the truth, y'all. take it from someone who knows. I know that it really stung in the past when I'll give you guys a perfect example. This program no longer exists, but because I did start on YouTube, it was my dream to be one of the selected for the YouTube Black Creator Program. And this was something that was rolled out, I believe it was the same year when the whole incident happened, the unfortunate event happened with George Floyd. We all know, if you're aware of that incident, this black man who lost his life due to police brutality. And it really triggered something across the world where companies all over the world were pretty much pledging to be more inclusive and having certain initiatives that they are basically fostering that resource type of thing for black creators, black people, black businesses, etc. And so this is a program that YouTube had rolled out. I believe it was 2020. At the time, it was only available for creators in the States. Very quickly, though, they started to have it open to other creators. So it opened up to Canadian creators and I believe creators in the UK as well. Now, the very first year that it was open to creators in Canada, when I tell y'all I applied and I pitched my heart out and I didn't get it. And it really hurt. I was like, damn. All right, no worries. I'll just look out for it the next time. And I applied again for the following year and I got rejected once again. And I always told myself, you know what, there will be a next time. But the thing about opportunities sometimes is that they are not always around forever. Because funny enough, that program just ended. There was no announcement. All I know is that around the time when I know the applications would be available, I did not see any update about it. There was no announcement by YouTube themselves. So I figured, I guess this is the end of the program. We're not hearing anything. And I believe it's been probably 2 years now since we've actually heard any recent. The last one that they had, I think the last one was last year or 2023. Can't remember. Something like that. But yeah, it's been at least a year that it's no longer a program. And it really hurt because I'm like, damn, that's where I started. It would be great to get these resources to help take my content and everything that I'm doing to the next level, because it's Google who is powering this as well, y'all. There are so many opportunities that would be there. They were also giving the creators stipend to help them with their creation. So that would mean you're getting seed funding to hire people to help you with specific projects and stuff like that. I questioned my value so much during that time. I am not even joking. So that was the first creator program that I can recall that I applied for, that I was eligible to apply for, that didn't work out. Another opportunity came up. This was a YouTube program also. It wasn't YouTube Black, but it was very similar in that it was all about, helping creators. It was like an accelerator program, right? So that you're getting more hands-on help. They're really helping you grow your YouTube channel and all of that stuff. I applied for that thing twice. The 2 times that I know that it was available. Also didn't get through to that. And those are the main creator programs that I know about that I have applied for. Any other times that there were creator programs, it was not available to Canadian creators. And so that's why I didn't shoot my shot in those situations. So when I saw this specific opportunity come up for Pinterest, it was a group chat that I was in and someone shared it. And I took a look at it and I said, I don't do the very aesthetic type content. I don't know if this would be something that they would see value in me applying, whatever. But whatever, I'm going to shoot my shot. I'm going to apply, speak from the heart about what I truly am about and see where it goes. Couple months went by and when I got the email, I had to rub my eyes because I was like, is this me? All I saw was congratulations, and I didn't scream super loud. I was like, oh my god, and I ran to the living room and I told my husband all about it. And then you have to do the whole replying to accept your application, because if you don't accept it, they'll give it to someone else, and then you get the whole information about here are the sessions, here's how everything will go. You kind of get a rundown of like what the program is all about. So far it has been 2 weeks that I've been in the program. It is a 4-week program, and it's just been fun to like just learn more in-depth information about Pinterest. It's such a powerful tool, and what I love about Pinterest is that you don't have to have a big following for you to do well on the platform. It's all about how strategic you are with the pins that you're creating, making sure that it's SEO friendly or SEO optimized. You're thinking more strategically about seasonal stuff, like what are people searching for? What can I make content about based on what people search for during this time of the year? And that's what I love about it, that I can explore content in a different way that doesn't necessarily have me wondering if it will do well on other platforms like Instagram or TikTok, for example. So love that for me. So that is how that opportunity came about. I will say though that I think because I've always been applying for programs at this point that I was eligible for and nothing was working, I started to have what I would call an application mindset, where I thought of every opportunity as an application so that I knew there is no guaranteed outcome. Okay. So treating opportunities, that's the second point. Treating opportunities like applications rather than guaranteed outcomes. So I was not thinking this is a sure thing. I just made sure that I poured my heart out and I just hope that it resonated with them. And if it didn't, I would be happy for whoever would have been selected. That is kind of how I've evolved in my mindset over the years, because I know it's part of the game. You win some, you lose some. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but I did an episode where I talked about my scalp issue that I had. Part of what motivated me to apply for Sephora Squad. That is something that I just applied for, not really thinking about, oh, this is something I'll actually get. I truly, truly wanted those who are more in that space of beauty and all of that to get the opportunities. And that is what exactly happened. But I feel like for that in particular, again, because I had my mind thinking about it as I'm just putting myself out there. Whoever are the successful applicants, there is a reason that they were selected, and it has nothing to do with a reflection of my self-worth. And I just want you to always remember that for yourself. If you apply for something and you don't get it, it has nothing to do with a reflection of your self-worth. Sometimes it just means that other people are the better fit for it right now. Doesn't mean that your chances won't come later on or other opportunities similar to it won't come up. So always keep an eye out for opportunities. Never give up applying. And also don't be afraid to like put some of your desires out there. So there's a difference between sharing your plans with people and your desires. I share a lot of my desires, and I have a wonderful online community that, because they know some of the things that I am interested in, looking for, and all of that, if they see something, they'll send it to my DM immediately. And I love them for that. Like, I could not ask for a better community in how they are intentional with how they, engage with me. It's not going to always be engaging with me on posts, but we're always like interacting in DMs sometimes. And you know how they pour into me. I really, really appreciate the real ones, like my OGs, who they look out for opportunities and share it with me. And I must do the work of actually putting myself out there and applying. So the third point I want to talk about, which brings me to talking about this opportunity that I got with being featured on Stan for their Creator Spotlight series, is fear versus action. So the mental barriers that keeps us from applying for opportunities. I think that a lot of us are afraid to put ourselves out there because we take rejection as meaning that we are not good enough. And it's not always that. You're not good enough. Sometimes, as I said before, there's just other people who the opportunity fits at the time. I am a firm believer that everything is in God's timing as well. So even though over the years I've sometimes questioned why not me? When is it going to be my turn? I believe that this is definitely my season, and I am being able to reap the fruit of my labor. And then for other people after me, that will be the same for them. There will be times when it's their season and my season will be a bit slower, and that's okay. That's part of life, right? We can't have it all the time. So with the Stand for Creators opportunity, how that came about, I don't know if y'all remembered a couple months ago, there was a challenge, the Stand challenge, that was done. I'm not sure if by that time I had done an episode about it on the podcast, but the Stand challenge happened where basically all you had to do was make a video, post it to your social media, use a specific hashtag, and tag Stand for Creators, talking about how 100K would help you take your creator business or your business, whatever your business was, to the next level. Because that whole challenge was all about what would you do if you could have your rent and groceries covered for an entire year, which gives you the freedom to work on your business for that entire year. And it was all about them giving, one person would be selected and they would be awarded 100K. I put myself out there for that opportunity. People were applying from all over the world. And when I say all over the world, I mean all over the world. And I just wanted to be able to share my story. And I don't regret that I did it, because even though I wasn't the winner, the person who was the winner, oh my gosh, his story, the storytelling aspect, just the way his video was crafted, and just hearing of the things he has been working on over the years, and finally being able to get this opportunity to like take it to the next level. It was really inspiring to hear. And I think they picked a great person for this opportunity. So super happy for them. But what happened through that opportunity was, now Stan was on my radar. Before, I have seen people have Stan store in their bio because they had products that they were selling, all of these things. But I never really took the time to follow them like that, keep up with their page. I think I followed them after one of my friends did tell me about them. I followed them, and that is how I found out about the opportunities. But I didn't really keep up with their page. And I kept following up with, their page in terms of like their stories and all of that. And I saw that there was a creator highlight. And I sent a DM. Let me see if I can find the DM that I sent. So here's a DM that I sent. At this point, the Stand challenge is already, completed. I'm still keeping up with their page. And I saw that they shared a story and it was a creator highlight. And I got curious to know what this is about. I pretty much sent a DM, saying, hey, Stand team, hope you're doing well. How do we apply to be a spotlighted creator? That's all I asked. And they replied to me, and this is in February, guys. They replied to me. They told me an email that I could reach out to. And they're like, hey there, please shoot an email to X and let her know you're interested in being a spotlight creator. And I said, thank you so much. Appreciate you for getting back to me. So that's all I did. Sent that DM, shoot my shot. But then I had to follow through. This is the part where a lot of us mess up. We want opportunities, but then we don't follow through. So now that I got the contact for whoever I need to reach out to, I needed to take action. So instead of allowing my fear to take over, because at this point, the creators that I saw them spotlighting, they were like way more followers than I had. In my opinion, they had like a more impactful story to share, like so many things that I was telling myself. And so I sent an email literally the following day. Actually, it was a couple of weeks or days that I sent the follow-up email because I wanted to like learn more about their platform. I started, with a free trial. Then I invested in getting a Stand store subscription so I could start selling my own digital products and things like that. So I sent an email and I said, hi, her name. Hope you're doing well. I came across Stand Store Creator Spotlight and would love to throw my name in the mix. I'm not going to say my full govy, a food and culture content creator and podcast based in Toronto. For the past 8 years, I've built a platform rooted in storytelling, community, and culture, whether it's through highlighting diverse food experiences or sharing the realities of the creator journey. My podcast, Dear Content Creator, is all about keeping it real with practical tips and resources for fellow creators navigating the space. And then I told them that I recently participated in their it was called Dare to Dream. That was the name of the challenge, Dare to Dream. And then I said I would love the opportunity to share my journey and how Stan Store is helping me take things to the next level. Let me know if this would be a fit. I'd love to chat more. And then she replied and she's like, "Hi, my full govy. I'm stoked you reached out. Your content looks amazing, and this is exactly what we do this series for. I would love to hear more about your journey and highlight you. We currently have 2 interviews in line for next month or so, but let's find some time in the calendar so that we can set up a time to chat." And then we coordinated some time to chat. That was it, y'all. I just had to follow through. And I look at it and think to myself, had I not followed through, that opportunity would not have come about. And what I was told, I don't know if they have changed their mind about this or anything, but when I was doing my, chat with the person, I was pretty much told that I got in at the right time because I'm actually going to be like their final spotlight, creator spotlight in the series. So it looks like it's something that they're wrapping up. But yeah, just wanted to quickly share that. And I want to end off on the last point, which is the compound effect, how taking one shot often leads to another opportunity. And I have a perfect story for this, but I will dive into it a bit more in another episode because I want to really talk about how creators can go about getting funding for creating projects and, just really amazing projects that they want to work on through funding. So basically, when I had gotten laid off in 2021, there was it 2022? I think it was 2022 when I got laid off. I had someone who follows me on socials. They knew about the things that I do, and they saw that there was a food tour training program, and they're like, "Hey, I saw this, thought of you, see if it aligns and apply." So I applied, and again, nothing that I was thinking much of it that I am putting so much thought into overthinking if I don't get through, how I will feel disappointed and blah, blah, blah. I looked at it as an application, and if it happens, it happens. So I applied and I got, an interview to do. And then I ended up being one of the 10 persons that they selected for this program, where we basically were going to be trained to be food tour guides. We will get to run our own food tour. And that was exciting to me because as a food creator, I'm trying to learn more about the food scene, etc. The previous year, I had done, the first installation of my series Kitchens of Toronto, which I self-funded and everything. And that one opportunity that I got sparked my idea for what I wanted to do even more with Kitchens of Toronto. And so now I'm looking for more opportunities of how can I take this to the next level. Basically, through the training, I was able to do a food tour within an area and really seeing that in Toronto, we have so much more than just food. There's such a rich culture of how neighborhoods are being evolved and transformed over the years. And I wanted to be able to tell the stories of these neighborhoods before they have completely changed and no one really knows the stories of these neighborhoods. We know what happens with gentrification. Areas are completely changed. Your local mom and pop and grocery stores now disappear because condos are being built as the populations are increasing, all of that. So that was my next idea that I had. And I looked out for opportunities that came. And there was an opportunity that came up. It was called the Amplifier Program. They had a partnership with Ontario Creates, which is a funding organization. The cool thing about this program is that by completing it, it would allow me to apply for the funding without the barriers that a lot of people had in the past. So a lot of these funding opportunities, you have to be incorporated for you to even apply. And so what this program did was by finishing it, it allows me to apply for the funding on the guarantee or the arrangement and agreement that if I did get selected for the grant, I would have to incorporate a business so that I could receive the funding. And that is exactly what I did. And I got the funding, y'all. I applied for the entire 20K, and that is what helped me to do the trailer and pilot for what I call season 2, which really is probably season 1 because it's more professionally done. But you get my drift. I was able to use that funding to do that, and it's been a search ever since because we want to be able to finish the series. It's a docu-food series highlighting the food scene in Toronto. I will go in more depth in another episode just to really lay out what that journey was like and how I did everything. But basically, one opportunity led to another, which led to another. And all I did was just take action, and those opportunities kind of fell into place and everything became aligned. And I'm not saying that it will always just fall into place like this, because right now it's been a struggle to finish the project due to lack of funds. But along the way, I'm just finding different information and industry insights and things that probably will help me with taking the series where it needs to go. Instead of me rushing it to where I think it needs to go, I'm trying to tell myself that maybe the slow growth or progress that I'm having right now is to give me more clarity of what I need to do with my next steps so that it is a successful thing at the end of the day. Let us wrap up this episode with some actionable takeaways. And this is something that I want you to also start doing. It's something I recently started doing, especially when I wanted to track, pitches that I'm doing, whether it's to a brand, for brand partnerships, speaking gig, whatever the case might be. I want you to identify 3 opportunities you've been hesitant to pursue. Okay. Then create an opportunity tracking system. So you can do this via a spreadsheet. So Google Spreadsheet works just fine. If you are a Notion girly like me, you can also have a little spreadsheet or dashboard area that you create in Notion where you're tracking all of these opportunities, things that you want to pitch and shoot your shot for. And lastly, develop a personal mantra that can help you overcome any kind of anxiety you have when it comes on to shooting your shot. This can be in various ways. I know a lot of people have different ways that they do this, whether it's through having sticky notes that you put up with words of affirmations, whatever the case might be. I see some things that some of my fellow friends have done when they did like marathons, and it was super hard because it was their first one. And they were saying to themselves, I can do difficult things. So if you want to steal that one, go right ahead, whatever will help you to push through and shoot your shot. So for today's Their Future Me segment, we're going to be doing it a little bit differently. A couple months ago, I went to a creator event that was all about, reminding you about how you can start with what you have, specifically when it comes on to video content, how you can just use your iPhone to take amazing videos. And so I had to write a letter to my future self that they would have mailed to me in 6 months' time. And I finally got it mailed to me. I've actually had it here for a couple of months. Afraid to read it because I don't remember what I wrote to my future self. But let us see if we have accomplished any of these things. So, okay. Letter to my future self. So I want to do my first live event within a year. Okay. I want to complete Kitchens of Toronto season 2 within 18 months. Okay. Didn't get to do that. And I want to land at least 2 brand deals with my podcast, Their Content Creator. Okay. So this was dated November 9th, 2024. And this was a letter to my future self. Now, I will say that I am definitely working on some of these things. It's just a slower process right now. But when it comes on to the live event within a year, we'll see how that goes. Maybe that will become a reality this year. I have a good feeling about that. And being able to land my first 2 brand deals with Their Content Creator, I think we can make that happen too. So now that I see what I wrote to my future self. I need to now shoot my shot to get some of these accomplished pretty soon. Thank y'all for listening to another episode. I want to hear from you guys. If there is any specific topics that you want me to talk about, either leave a comment or you can send me an email to dearcontentcreator@gmail.com. I do want to start having more of my creator mailbox segment where I read some of your questions and answer them in the episode. I think that would be cool. These could probably also be like individual episodes themselves. So again, the email is dearcontentcreator@gmail.com. In the next couple of episodes, you can expect to hear me dive and elaborate a bit more on some of the points that I talked about in this episode, specifically talking about funding, how creators can go about getting funding, and also we're going to finally talk about brand deals, okay? I think I've made you wait long enough, so stay tuned for some upcoming episodes, y'all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!